All right, today we're diving into one of the most powerful stories in the Gospels, John chapter 9. We're going to behold Jesus through the story of the man born blind. And let me tell you, this is so much more than just a miracle story. It's a deep, profound look at spiritual sight, what faith really is, and who Jesus truly is.
So the story kicks off so simply. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. There's no big announcement, no fanfare, just another day on the road. But in this one simple act of seeing, Jesus is about to crash into a lifetime of darkness with an encounter that will change everything.
Okay, so before we even get to the miracle, we've got to understand the world this man was living in. Because for him, being blind wasn't just a physical condition. It was basically seen as a spiritual death sentence. And get this is the question that Jesus' own disciples ask him. It just perfectly sums up the worldview of the time. If you're suffering in a major way, well, it must be a direct punishment for some specific sin. They're trying to do the spiritual math, to connect the dots and figure out who to blame. But Jesus just completely flips the script. His disciples, they see the man's blindness as a problem to be solved, a theological knot to untangle. But Jesus, he sees something totally different. He sees a canvas. He sees an opportunity for the glorious work of God to be put on full display. He redefines this man's suffering, not as a punishment, but as a platform.
Yeah, Jesus just dismisses their entire premise. He's saying, you're asking the wrong question. This isn't about looking backward to assign blame. This is about looking forward to what God is about to do. This man's life is about to become this stage for God's glory.
All right, so now let's get into the healing itself, because how Jesus does this is just packed with meaning. I mean, this isn't just a magic trick. It's a message, a profound one.
This is so cool and so important. Jesus doesn't just snap his fingers. He spits on the ground, makes mud with it, and puts that mud on the man's eyes. Why? Why do it that way? Well, it's this incredible direct link back to the creation story in Genesis, where God formed Adam from the dust of the ground. Jesus isn't just fixing something that's broken. He is performing an act of new creation.
And the symbolism, it just keeps going. Jesus then sends the man to wash in the Pool of Siloam. And the writer, John, he hits pause to make sure we don't miss this detail. The name Siloam means sent. So you have the man who was sent by Jesus finding his healing in a place called sent. It's this beautiful, poetic clue pointing to who Jesus is, the one sent from the Father.
And just look at the man's response. It's this beautiful, simple, three-step progression of faith. He obeys without question. He goes, he washes, which is this picture of cleansing, and he comes back not just with physical sight, but with a whole new reality. He's illuminated. His simple obedience led directly to the miracle. Now you think that's the end of the story, right? Miracle happens, roll credits. But no way. The physical healing is just the opening act. The story now shifts, and it turns into something like a courtroom drama, where this huge reversal is about to unfold. This is where we see the central irony of the whole chapter. As the man who used to be blind gets grilled by the religious leaders, his spiritual vision gets sharper and sharper. He starts by calling Jesus a man. Then he realizes he must be a prophet. And by the end, he's worshiping him as Lord. But at the same time, the Pharisees, the so-called experts who claim to see everything, they just descend deeper and deeper into spiritual blindness.
And this right here, this is the man's unshakable testimony. The Pharisees are trying to trap him in all these theological debates, but he just cuts right through the noise with a simple, powerful truth of his own experience. This is his entire confession. Something happened to me that no argument you have can ever take away. So, all of this builds to the story's real climax. The man has actually been kicked out of the synagogue for defending Jesus, but then Jesus finds him. And this is the moment where the physical healing and the spiritual journey all come together.
Jesus comes to him and asks this incredibly direct question. Do you believe in the Son of Man? Now that was a huge title, a divine title from the prophet Daniel, referring to a heavenly king who would rule forever. The man who was once in total darkness is now literally face to face with the light of the world.
And the man's response? It's instant. Lord, I believe. And then he worships him. And that's it. That's the whole point. The story shows us that the ultimate purpose of receiving sight isn't just to see the trees in the sky. It's to see the creator of it all and to worship him. That's the true goal of the miracle. Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. what are the huge theological truths this story is teaching us? I mean, why does this story from 2,000 years ago matter so much today?
Well, first, you have to understand this miracle didn't happen in a vacuum. Way back in the Old Testament, prophets like Isaiah said that when the Messiah came, one of the signs would be that he would open the eyes of the blind. So by doing this, Jesus is making a massive claim. He's essentially saying, I'm the one you've been waiting for.
But on an even deeper level, this man, he's a picture of all of us. The story teaches that we are all born spiritually blind. We're born in darkness, and we are totally unable to fix ourselves or even see spiritual truth on our own. So if that's our condition, what's the cure? Well, the story defines it perfectly for us. True sight, which is faith, isn't something you can earn through religious rules or figure out with logic. It's a gift. It's something you receive by grace, when Jesus, the true light of the world, reveals himself to you.
And that's the bottom line. The physical healing, as amazing as it is really just a signpost pointing to a much deeper miracle. This story is a living, breathing parable of what it means to be born again. It's not just about a restored sight. It's about a restored soul. And that's the question this chapter just leaves hanging in the air for every single one of us. If faith really is the eye of the soul, and Jesus is the light that makes seeing possible, then what is it that you and I truly see?